What's up guys, it's Rowan here from Art of Smart TV. English is one of those subjects that, you probably love to hate, right? It's incredibly subjective and it's probably inevitable that at some point during the year, you're not going to get a great result in one of your assessments. And so what we're going to look at here is, well, what if that happens to you? What if you screw up English? How do you turn it around? And today I'm going to be chatting with Ashim, who has a remarkable story of, getting 8 out of 20 in an English assessment, and by the end of his HSC actually achieving a mark of 74% overall, which was a staggering 34% mark improvement. And so it's proof, first of all, that if English is not your strong subject, with work you can turn it into something that will actually more positively contribute to your ATAR. A subject that won't absolutely drag you down. So let's find out exactly how Ashim did it. So welcome, Ashim.
Thank you for having me.
Now, again, what happened here? Like 8 out of 20, when was this assessment?
This was at the end of term 4, I think.
So it's your first year 12 assessment, actually.
Assessment, yeah.
So this isn't year 11, this is like real. 8 out of 20, which is, a 40% result. You're doing English standard at the time, is that correct?
Standard.
How did you feel?
I felt pretty down, but I never really liked English or I didn't do anything to prepare for it. It was a last minute, it was a speech, I think, and it was done last minute. Everything was done last minute, and it was just so I could not get an award, basically.
So then, getting this right, basically, you don't like English. As a result, you're not motivated. You do zero work until the last minute, where you think, uh-oh, I don't want to get into any more trouble. I'll do the minimum and just get it done. And then you get the 6 out of 20. Sorry, 8 out of 20. You get the 8 out of 20. What happens then?
Well, it's just like a bus hitting me, basically. It's just, I realized that this isn't year 11 anymore. I can't muck around. And it's just start of year 12. This all goes towards the final mark. And it's just, I really started just thinking about what I need to do to start improving my English results.
And so I guess that's the challenge, right? It's compulsory. It's not like you've got, this extra 2 units up your sleeve, you can throw English off into that and you're okay. Okay, at the end of the journey, you end up getting a 74%. So I guess the good news is there's light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm assuming at the time, staring down the barrel of 8 out of 20, you probably didn't feel that way. What do you start doing? What's step number 1 to try to change that?
Well, first recognize the problem, and that was me not enjoying English, and it was just not teachers or anything. It was just I did not like English from the beginning.
And why didn't you like it? I mean, what is it about English that just doesn't work for you?
It's just too subjective for me. And it's most of the answers are in the grey area. It's just not black and white like in something like maths. So you just don't know where something is right or wrong, but then you find out at the end and you realize you've been wrong the entire time.
So then step 1 is, really identify that, something needs to change, that, there's some key problems here. For you, what was that? What did you identify you needed to change?
I needed to change the amount of time I put into English, which was 0, to maybe like 4 hours a week, just up it a bit. And it was also...
It's almost 45 minutes a day we're talking about, right?
Roughly. And just like ask for help as well from teachers. And when I realized that, well, it was working a bit, but I needed more help, and that's why tutoring was the thing for me to do. So
you started asking your teachers at school for help. How long did you go down that pathway before you realized, I need more help, I need to get some external support as well?
The teachers were pretty clear about that as well, and it was just, okay, yeah, I need a tutor, so either like what kind of tutoring I need was the next question for me. And it was like a class, I was already here for maths and I really liked the environment, so I decided to do English here as well.
Awesome. And so, here you were working with Hannah one-on-one, is that correct?
Maddie first, then Hannah.
Yep, awesome. So you were doing some one-on-one, and then you were also attending classes that was really focused on the skills for the new syllabus. So we've got step 1, realize that you've got to put some work in. 0 is not enough. Step two as part of that was to get some help. You know, I mean, clearly school and then alternate, you know, external to that. What was step three?
Step three was putting in the work again.
So what did that look like, right? So each week, what were you doing week to week, you know, let's say in term one of the new year, because, you know, term four was when you had that result that wasn't so great. What was the week to week work looking like in term one, and how was that different?
It was, for me, before in term four, I was doing everything last minute, and when term one started, I started doing things beforehand. I was writing practice essays, sending them over to tutors to see where it is. I was attending one-on-ones here, and they really helped out as well. I was basically just, if I got homework, I did it at the beginning and not left it till the very last minute, and just started to stop just messing around and start doing English.
So there's a theme here, and it's do the work. Yeah. So to break that down, you're doing the homework. You know, so your teachers are obviously giving you things to support you, you know, preparing for your assessments. You're doing that. Secondly, you know, it sounds like you're working with your one-on-one tutor to you know, craft some practice essays over the course of a term, and then get feedback on that in the sense of like get someone to tear it apart and tell you how to grow and improve. And then it also sounds like from what you just shared that you were, you know, attending some classes and really trying to get your writing practice sort of up to speed. You then have your first assessment in term one, right? So you've had that 8 out of 20. Yeah. You then start getting this help. How do you end up going in that first assessment?
I think I got a 14 out of 20 on that. It was a essay on, it was a mod A essay, and it was an immediate improvement.
I mean, 8 out of 20, 40%, 14 out of 20, 70, so you've straight up put 30% on with a bit of effort and a bit of support.
So it was just, I realized it was working for me, and I needed to stick with this if I wanted to not mess up English, which is compulsory.
And so good, so this was a bit of positive momentum, in other words. So you've got this positive momentum. You know, what then did you do in the, you know, prior to your trials, to prepare for your trials?
Trials, it was a lot of writing practice essays and sending them to Hannah, which was my one-on-one tutor. I was also getting help from the classes, just asking if my Mod C stuff made sense, like if this is the correct way to do it, and also asking help for structures. So it was just constant back and forth between tutors and teachers, and also with the classes. Yeah, that was it. So
it was, again, what I'm hearing is like a feedback loop. Like you're writing and you've got a tight feedback loop in your work, and you're taking that. And so once you got feedback, were you then going and improving it, or were you just reading it and going, awesome, move on?
Once I got the feedback, it was just looking at the feedback, seeing how I could improve, and making improvements on another practice essay I wrote. So it's just getting feedback and applying that feedback, and it was just a constant cycle of that.
So application sounds like it was really, really key, which is fantastic. So you've mentioned here that you were working with Hannah, you're one-on-one and attending the class. What were some of the best things of working with Hannah?
She was very supportive, and it's like she was available all the time, so you could just message her, be like, Hannah, could you please just help me with this? And she always got back to you, and she would just always be there, so you could just always rely on her.
Fantastic. And then what were the best things about the class?
Classes, it was just not me, because like, and it was, Greg was a very nice guy, and it's just, it's a class environment, and you get to have a bit of fun, but you also get to learn the skills that really you need for English.
You know, end of the journey now, your HSC exam. What did you do in the sort of 2 weeks before to prepare for that?
Practice essays with a lot of questions, and I got questions from everywhere. just ask somebody for questions, just change the question up a bit, then write an essay on that, then just keep doing that. And
were you rote memorizing essays here, or was it just doing so many that you knew all your analysis?
I was doing a lot, so I knew my analysis, but it was also sort of, I memorized very broad essays, and it seemed to work.
Awesome. So You did a little bit. You knew your analysis, but you were also memorizing some really broad, when you say broad essays, I'm imagining it was mainly more the examples that you were using in the paragraphs, like the intros and conclusions, no?
No, it was just like paragraphs and just attack a bunch of themes with it and a bunch of ideas, just so I could just, if I got this question, I'd be ready for it because I have some experience writing about it.
And did you struggle with time in the exams at all?
I did not. I finished all my essays, except I think I didn't finish one, if I remember, but it was just because I spent a bit more time on another one, but I finished what I usually write in all of them.
And do you have any other advice for students navigating the new syllabus, first of all, for English, and two, for maybe, bouncing back if they've screwed up an assessment along the way?
Work hard, remember to do practice questions, and they're pretty lucky that we've done it already, so they have a few material that they could go behind, and always ask help if you need it. Don't hide.
Awesome. So there you've heard it, guys. I think some really practical steps on what you need to do if you screw up an assessment for HSC English. And I think really the key thing that I was taking from that is, number one, it takes work. You've got to put some work in. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes that's going to be the best thing that you can do if you get it earlier. And I think, the third thing in all of that is really, you got to do the work. Particularly with this new syllabus, there isn't really any shortcuts. So, if you have any questions about how to turn things around for English, leave it in the comments below. We'd love to help. Of course, if you need more support for English, get in touch with us. We've got an incredible team of teachers, tutors, and mentors that can support you as well. And finally, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. We do videos every single week.